What's the one thing that could kill you faster in the desert than the heat itself? It's not what you think, and in this video, I'm going to show you how avoiding a single mistake could be the difference between life and death in this unforgiving landscape. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the harshest survival environments, Arizona's desert. Known for its extreme heat, treacherous terrain, and dangerous wildlife, surviving in the desert demands more than just the basic knowledge you've heard on survival TV shows. It's about real-world skills, experience, and the gear that can make the difference between life and death. Listen carefully. The desert can kill you faster than you think. You might survive the first few hours, but the longer you stay unprepared, the higher the stakes become. When you're out there, every decision counts, and in this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know. Because if you get this wrong, you might never leave the desert. Let's set the stage. The Arizona desert isn't just hot. It's a relentless force of nature. Temperatures can soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, and in some areas, the mercury can even climb higher. But the heat is only one part of the problem. At night, temperatures can plummet, sometimes reaching freezing levels. This extreme temperature shift is one of the most dangerous aspects of desert survival. During the day, you'll be constantly fighting dehydration, and if you don't keep up with your hydration, you risk heat stroke and exhaustion. And that's not just uncomfortable, it's deadly. You need to drink more water than you think. In the desert, thirst can creep up on you, and by the time you feel thirsty, it's already too late. Your body will be dehydrated, your energy will be gone, and in some cases, you might not even be able to think straight. Did you know that 75% of your body's water is lost through sweat before you even start to feel thirsty? That's why staying hydrated isn't just about drinking when you're thirsty. It's about staying ahead of the game and consistently replenishing your fluids before you ever feel parched. Water in the desert isn't just important, it's everything. Imagine running out of water miles from the nearest town, and you're starting to feel weak. Dehydration sets in, and your judgment starts to falter. Your survival instincts kick in, but it's almost too late. Here's the #1 rule in desert survival. Always carry more water than you think you'll need. Ideally, plan for at least a gallon per person per day. You might think that sounds excessive, but trust me, it's not. You're going to sweat a lot, and dehydration can sneak up on you faster than you realize. If you don't take enough water, you're putting yourself at serious risk. Even if you think you have enough, always double-check your supplies. If you get stuck in an emergency situation and run out of water, your chances of survival drop drastically. And don't be fooled by natural water sources. Streams and ponds are unreliable. Water may be contaminated, or the sources might be dry. That's why I always recommend carrying a water filter or purifier with you. There's no excuse not to have one. These small devices can save your life in the wild. Being able to filter water from a questionable source might be your ticket out of a deadly situation. You'll also want to have backup water containers in your pack. A collapsible water bottle or hydration pack can give you extra capacity if you find yourself running low. The last thing you want to do is rely on just one container and risk running out. Trust me on this. Now that we've covered water, let's talk about clothing. You might think that packing light in the desert is smart, but trust me, you need to think strategically. The right clothing can be the difference between surviving comfortably and succumbing to the elements. First, let's talk about the daytime. During the day, the sun will scorch you, and if you don't wear the right materials, you'll burn up quickly. Never go into the desert with cotton clothing. Cotton traps moisture and becomes heavy when wet, making it a terrible choice for survival in hot, dry climates. If you wear the wrong clothes, you'll feel it within hours. You'll start getting sunburned, dehydrated, and possibly even develop heat rashes. And once you're in that condition, it's a downward spiral toward disaster. What should you wear instead? Opt for lightweight, breathable fabrics such as synthetic blends or merino wool. These materials wick away sweat, keeping you dry, and they also protect your skin from the sun. Long sleeves and pants might feel counterintuitive in the heat, but they're essential for keeping the sun off your skin and preventing burns. At night, when the temperature drops, you'll need insulating layers. A lightweight jacket or fleece will help trap your body heat and keep you warm as the temperature plummets. If you're camping or hiking in the desert, I also recommend packing a good hat and a pair of sunglasses to protect your face and eyes from the harsh sun. Next, we need to talk about shelter. In many survival situations, shelter is what keeps you alive, especially in extreme environments like the desert. Not only does it protect you from the sun during the day, but it also shields you from the cold at night. Without shelter, you're exposed to the harsh elements, and that exposure will wear you down quickly. Here's the key. Keep your shelter compact and portable. A good quality tarp or emergency shelter is a must-have in your survival kit. Don't waste time with bulky tents that are hard to carry. A simple tarp shelter can offer quick and effective protection from both sun and wind, and it'll help you preserve energy when you need it the most. Exposing yourself to the elements at night could lead to hypothermia, even in the desert. You might think the desert is just hot all the time, but once the sun sets, it gets freezing cold. If you don't have shelter, you risk your core temperature plummeting, and that could be fatal. Remember, you can always find shelter under a tree, a rock overhang, or even by digging a simple trench to protect you from the wind and heat. But make sure your shelter doesn't take up too much space. Keep it minimal and efficient. The next critical piece of the puzzle is navigation. The desert is vast and featureless, and it's easy to get disoriented. Without the proper navigation tools, you might wander off course and find yourself completely lost. Carrying a reliable compass and map is essential. Don't rely solely on technology. Bring a physical map as a backup. GPS units are great, but they can fail, and relying on them alone is a dangerous gamble. Imagine being 10 miles into the desert and realizing your GPS battery is dead. You'd be completely stranded and at the mercy of the environment. It's happened to people, and many of them didn't make it back. If you don't have navigation skills and the right tools, you might not get out of the desert alive. So, let's recap. Water, shelter, clothing, and navigation are the 4 pillars of desert survival. Without them, you're risking your life. If you take anything from this video, remember this. The desert is not a forgiving place, and every decision you make out there counts. Make sure you're prepared for both the heat and the cold, the sun and the night. You can't afford to make mistakes in the desert. If you're heading into this environment, make sure you're fully prepared. No excuses, your life depends on it. Thanks for watching. If you want more survival tips and in-depth gear recommendations, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And remember, in the desert, stay safe, stay smart, and always be prepared.